advocacy. My
Right.
thing is speaking out, doing the action, and joining people from all over the world.
Yeah.
We actually create local change and global dialogue.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to Conversations with MM. My guest for this evening is a regional development strategist for Southeast Asia. She is a young leader, a promising one, somebody who is trailblazing on the innovative side of NGO work and multilateralism. And she's no other than Miss Ivanna dela Torre. Ivanna is the founder of KayaROI and the chief curator of HERRD. This is a platform for women leadership. Let's welcome Ivanna. She is in Manila right now. Hi, Ivanna. Good evening from New York. Yeah.
Hi, Mary Veer. Good to see you today.
I know, it's amazing. I just saw you a few days ago online as well. So how are you? How have you been?
It's been great. Things have been busy. Been doing the work that we do at KayaROI and HERRD. So yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's been great.
Wow. So tell us about this kind of work with KayaROI. ROI. How is that?
Yes. Yeah. So KayaROI is an impact-driven consultancy
Mm-hmm.
where we do offer client solutions, but at the same time, impact initiatives. So for the
Mm-hmm.
client solutions, we really focus on trade and investment promotions
Mm-hmm.
and some brand communications as well. We've been working with the Australian Embassy, Australian Table Grapes,
Mm-hmm.
to help with the trade facilitation between Australia and the Philippines. And then we design our own impact initiatives. We don't need to wait for clients for our
Mm-hmm.
impact initiatives, and we focus on public health, circular economy, renewable energy, blue
Wow.
economy. So we've expanded our scope when it comes to sustainability. We really started out with public health
Mm-hmm.
under an impact initiative that we designed called Health Tribe Asia. And then
Mm-hmm.
from there we went into circular economy, where we set up the circularity network, and now we're in official partnership with Pasig City for a systems and behavior change program on circular economy, to support the Bloomberg initiative that they have. They want a Bloomberg, I believe it's called the
Yes.
Global Mayor's Grant. So
Mm-hmm.
yes,
Wow,
yes,
that's a
that's
lot of
it.
work. So
It is a lot of work, yes, but
so
worth it.
I was talking to you a few weeks ago, and you were going to Singapore and then coming back to Manila
Yes.
for some consultation with Singaporean NGOs or companies or government. So why did you create this kind of organization or consultancy? Like, tell us your background. Like, this is very technical and also very multilateral. Like, everybody is involved. So, wow, that's a great job, my dear. And it's like you are trying to change the world for the better. And so,
That's
like, in
that
a very
that's a big
synchronized
scope.
way. Yes, yes, wow. So,
Changing the world is a big ask. So I'm honestly scared of that term. So but what I try to do is, so I mean I've been working for what, over 25 years now, and I really started out as an academic. So I
mhm.
taught corporate social responsibility when it was still called CSR at that time.
Oh, what is it called
And
now?
well, sustainability. So,
Oh,
it's
okay.
evolved, right? The terms have evolved from
Ah, I
CSR
didn't
to
know it's
shared
sustainability
value.
now.
Yeah. So then we were really, because we align, and even the private sector would align itself with the SDGs. I mean, that's the
Right.
whole
Mm-hmm.
SDG 17, right? So yeah, so started out as an academic. also, I would say, started out when I was still a child. So I belong to a family of educators. The family set up schools and colleges and would
Mhm.
really cater to the underprivileged in the Philippines. And I was really inspired and moved by all of that. And so
Mhm.
when the schools were still being managed by us,
Mhm.
I lived my childhood. My sister and I, and yeah, we would spend our summer vacations in our schools, um
Uh-huh.
and and really be exposed to the realities of life. So and by realities I
Amazing.
mean children, students would not be able to go to school and attend school, take their test, because they would have to look for, they would have to sell bottles on the street,
Mm-mm.
and so that they would have food on their table.
Which
So
city
I
is
was
this or province?
uh Teresa
Ivanna.
Rizal,
Mm-hmm.
and Cubao. So
Okay.
yeah, so we were exposed to that kind of reality, and I guess that's why right now I do a lot of things with the youth,
Mm.
and um you know, yung mga mangbobo, we call them mangbobote, right? So even the kids,
Mm-mm.
meaning they traded bottles
Yeah.
for recycling so they can get money,
Yeah.
and yeah, so it's like a circle of life. Right now I'm doing circular economy.
Wow. So life has taught you at a very early age, right?
Yeah, very. I mean, I think it's that kind of exposure sure is rich, and really grounds you. So, yeah, I've definitely have my family to thank for that kind of experience and life
Very
lessons.
nice. Amazing you. So, but then you started with the corporate world also. From academe, you went corporate. So you
Yes,
were with Coca-Cola, I suppose, and
yes,
other big corporations. And now,
yeah.
what did you learn from there? And you're shifting to your own consultancy, which is very broad in scope and provides service to practically all sectors.
Yes, I would say it's a shift back to what I've been doing. So
Mhm.
because from academe, I did consultancy as well. So I was with
But
APCO
were you a
Worldwide.
teacher, Ivana? Sorry, excuse me. Were
Yes,
you teaching? Oh,
yes. I was
college?
teaching 300 students, yes,
Oh my
at a
gosh.
time. So, yeah, it
Wow.
was a big load on top of the project management that I was doing. So it is a pretty big load.
Uh-huh.
But yes, but I was also, and for our own schools, I was also an administrator. I was doing registrar work, so I was really
Mm.
very embedded,
Well-rounded.
yeah, in the entire school system. So but yes, from school I did consultancy. I did a stint with ADB for CSR consultancy, a very short stint, but from there I joined APCO Worldwide, which is a DC based global public affairs company.
Mm.
It's regionally headquartered in Singapore, so I joined that team, and so I was shuttling back between Manila and Singapore to support the Asia Pacific business,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really, I would say, what exposed me to global work.
Mm-hmm.
It's where we were able to connect and support the central bank and the Department of Finance in their economic communications and investment promotions. We supported them on the World Economic Forum, on APEC CEO Summit and General Leaders Meetings, and
Mm-hmm.
I think really that's what, took me out of my Philippine comfort zone and
Mm-hmm.
exposed me to very different cultures as well. You'll
Mm-hmm.
see my child right here. Hello, he just
Oh,
woke up.
hi. Good morning. What's his name?
His name's Felipe.
Felipe. Hi. Magandang umaga. So, you're mothering as well, and
Yes.
also running a big company. So, how is the
Well,
balance of that?
well, the reason that I took a corporate pause was really to spend more time with
Mm.
my family and with my
Mhm.
child, you know, in corporate. And I had a regional role as well. So I was
Mhm.
really flying around a lot.
Uh-huh.
Um, it
And less
was,
time for the children, for the child.
yes, and a lot of adjustments as well because he's still young, right? So whenever I had
Mm.
to leave, I spent an entire week to say goodbye. And then oh there, yes. I spent an
There, Felipe.
entire week to say goodbye. And then by the time I get home, it's also time to
Say
say goodbye
sorry.
again for my next
Oh,
trip. So
oh my gosh. And
so
so
it
he's
it
complaining?
he
Has he
wasn't.
complained?
He's pretty good. He's pretty good at it. I mean, they adjust, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
they know
They
how
say,
to
you just
adjust.
explain well. I said, oh, okay. And then they look forward.
Yes. Yes, and a lot of toys, a lot of
Yes.
pasalubongs, but that's
Correct.
fine. That's the fun part. But you know, it's
Uh-huh.
the mom's guilt is very
It's
real.
always there. Oh,
So
yeah.
yes, so that's what I really had to grapple with.
I know.
It's impossible to because we heard just wrote a post about this. It's being published today.
Hmm.
We can have it all, but maybe not all at the same time, you know?
And at the
So
same time,
it's
yeah.
it, this whole idea of having it all is incomplete.
Hmm.
Uh, it comes in seasons and in phases,
Definitely.
and there are trade-offs. There are, you know, there are choices to be made. There are priorities to be made,
Mhm.
right? Like right now.
Yes.
So
Yes. It's nice
yeah,
to
so
see you. Can I see your face, Felipe? How old
he
is
can't
he?
hear you, but he's
Uh,
6 years old and he's starting
uh-huh.
school in a week's time. So this is our last week
Ah,
in
vacation is finished?
vacation.
Oh, I
Yes.
see. Hello.
Okay. You want
So
to say hi to Papa for a bit? Yeah. Thank you.
amazing. So tell me about leadership. You know, what was very impactful for me, resonated to me so much, was when you spoke during the parallel event of the HLPF, that leadership is key to sustainability. And I definitely agree with you, because what would partnerships do? What would institutionalizations do if there's no leader that will integrate all this? And then, is there hope for Philippine leadership, for example?
Oh, very loaded question, Marivir.
As usual, they always
And
accuse me of loaded questions.
very loaded question. Uh, I'll 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 take on the last question. Is there hope?
Yes.
I think hope is required in order
Mm,
for us to move forward. Without hope, there would just be chaos in the mind.
in the mind.
Yes, because without positive visioning,
Mhm,
we'll be stuck with historical references that
mhm.
have not done us good.
Right.
Um, and so it takes a lot for us to also learn and take on the good parts of our experiences. And you know, the whole, this is why we have best practices and all these case studies,
Mhm,
which is very important in the, you know, technical work that we do,
mhm,
international benchmarking, you know, industry benchmarking and all of that. I mean,
mhm.
but these are technical terms, but this is really just learning, taking the positives from all our experiences, because there's been a lot of negatives. and
Yes.
and with that, we take that with us and turn that into, okay, how do we then plan for the future? And that
Mhm,
is hope, right? And
mhm.
that is carving out a space in the future where a world could be a better place. That's cheesy, but that
Mhm, mhm.
that is visioning, right? So
Yeah.
yes.
Amazing. But in practical terms, how is this done with your partnership with the Pasig City government?
Yes. So, you know, that was a dream. When I left corporate, I
Mm-hmm.
told my partners I want to do something with Mayor Vico because he's driving good governance.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't get a lot of that, right?
Yes.
In this country, but also in other countries. We always talk about corruption in the Philippines because we are based here, but
Mm-mm.
corruption is universal. So
Yeah.
having that um, glimpse of what could be. Again, we're talking about hope.
Mm-mm.
um, and so I I guess I manifested it in a way because
Yeah.
stars aligned. After a few months, there were opportunities to have these discussions, and I
Mm-hmm.
would say, really be kind to everybody that you meet because um, when you're part of a big institution, you
Mm-hmm.
have the power to move things and the resources to move things.
Right.
But when I
That's
left the
leadership.
big, yes, but at
Mm-hmm.
the same time, when I left an organization like Coca-Cola,
Yeah.
we're you said big companies. We're a startup. We're a very small company, and
Uh-huh.
and what we have with us are the relationships and the trust that we've built
Yes.
over the years. And that's why I say you really need to be kind to everybody that you meet because this opportunity in Pasig City was born out of a recommendation from uh, a colleague, a partner that I had that I got to work with, a former
Mm-hmm.
client actually, and we ended up working over the years.
Mm-hmm.
And he's working. She's working with them
Mm-hmm.
on circular economy, on the Bloomberg project, and just made that recommendation. And it
Mm-hmm.
just also turns out that circular economy is the scope that we're currently focusing on. And so
Amazing.
yeah, so there was alignment,
Yes, it
and
jived.
it jived, yes. And of course from there, we had to do the work, right? We did a 3-hour presentation to the counselors. It was
Uh-huh.
supposed to be
Oh
a
wow.
30-minute presentation, but turned out to be a
Wow.
3 but very useful presentation.
Did you have
I would
butterflies in the stomach?
There's always that, but
Uh-huh.
we put in the work. We put in a lot of work before.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're pre-presentation, there's always that, right? But you're also
Mm-hmm.
focused on, okay, what are the key messages? What do you want to land? What are the
Yes.
priority decisions that we need to
Mm-hmm.
what that we need to land with, or that we need to you know l- get from that meeting. And so
Mm-hmm.
we were really focused on that, and it was a full team that prepared for it. So I wasn't I I wasn't doing it on my own.
Uh-huh. What now are the projects that you are particularly working with the city mayor? The Is this the circular
So
economy, or
yes,
what is that? And also
the
explain it
circular.
to us.
So they won the grant to build a floating park along the
This is
Pasig
from
River.
Bloomberg, right?
This is from
Uh,
Bloomberg,
okay.
and so the goal is to prepare the neighborhoods, the barangays
Mm,
around the park, so that there is a sense of ownership
right.
over that space because it's
Mm-hmm.
it's quite a hefty investment. And
Yes.
so we want to build a community that understands how to build a resilient city, and resilient spaces. And
Mm-hmm.
circular economy is part of that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we do not have that kind of discipline here, where we segregate and it goes to a hauler that continues to segregate and it goes to the recycling facilities. A lot of our waste would go straight to the landfill. We don't even have enough investment on waste to energy. There are policy barriers around waste to energy as well. And so all of this is really driving that discussion. So we are focused on behavior change.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the key things that we found out is, in order to drive behavior, yes, we need to do small steps, but at the same time, we need to make sure that the small steps that we're building drive systemic change.
Mhm.
So it's it will sound very simple, but at the core of the program is a containerization strategy, and that
Mhm.
is simply understanding what waste bins and how do we design waste bins so we can encourage waste segregation
Mhm.
to trigger to trigger recycling, so
So you're
so it
educating the people in the communities in the city.
yes,
It's
so
a
we
drive for
are
education.
yes, so we're doing we're it's there is policy design also and policy change for it, or
Mhm.
policy advocacy for it as well, because like I said, this whole containerization strategy, you wouldn't normally see this in an awareness campaign.
Mhm.
So we're really going beyond awareness and going into structural changes. So the foundational for us is, let's look at the trash bins, because no, but we're not looking at the trash bins. Like, they're all gray, and they're different trash bins in different parts of the community. In schools, there's maybe one trash bin, or three
Yeah.
in another, or five in another, and then the language is very different. Sometimes it's called non-biodegradable. Sometimes sometimes it's called trash, or it's called there is no consistency in the words, in the colors, in the shape, in
Wow.
the elements. And so we're taking on that visual lens in order to drive structural change. And then from there, we're gonna do the campaign to get everybody involved.
How long is
We
the
are
campaign for? With the how long are you going to work on this? You have a 10-year
our
program, 5-year program?
So what's interesting here is, Mayor Vico is only going to be here until 2028, so what
Yeah.
what we need to do is really institutionalizing the change. It cannot be that, in the next administration this won't be relevant anymore. So
Yes.
that's a
That's the
job to be done.
challenge.
Yes,
So you have
that
a
is
2-year window.
we have a 2-year window. We actually have a 1-year engagement with them. We're hoping, we can, and this is why the multi-sectoral cooperation is needed, because
Right.
it also cannot just be the government driving this. The private
Yeah,
sector
but
needs to be in on it. Yeah.
time is not on your side unless the mayor seeks re-election. Can
Yes.
he still seek re-election?
No, he can't.
No
And
more. He will be running for another office, right? If he wants to.
if he
So,
wants to, I
but
heard he's been saying he doesn't want to. So
but he cannot run again for mayor. So you will have to look for another ally on this sustainability, circularity movement, because it cannot be coterminous with the politician. That is the problem for Philippines because it's not institutionalized. The environmental system is not there. It's dependent on politics. So it's that's the reason. That's actually why I asked if there's hope,
mm,
right? But for the short
mm.
term, Ivana, is there a another place in the Philippines where you can see that sustainability has thrived? But for example, the cleanup of Iloilo River, which has been very holistic, like all the towns were in of the island were involved, so that the run of the Iloilo River is clean, since the upstream towns are working too, are like they're all coordinated. So have you seen other best practices in the Philippines that can be used to inspire you? Or has
Oh,
Mayor Vico been inspired by the other cities too?
I would
Please give us
say, yes. Okay. So first, let me say that there's been a lot of interest in investment um,
some.
in the circular economy, and
Mhm.
DNR, and the Department of Environment, and UNDP, and
Mhm.
major private sector players have really been in on it. There is the extended producer responsibility
Mm-hmm.
law that has mandated producers, manufacturers to help the government in collecting
Mm-hmm.
plastics. There is a lot
Okay.
of work to be done. So we're definitely not alone. We're a speck in the entire universe, I would say,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of collaborators already, and
Mm-hmm.
so
Nice.
there is no we are not lacking in sources of hope. We are not lacking in initiatives. What
Mm-hmm.
we are lacking in is in connecting all of these initiatives and
Mm-hmm.
turning it into a nationwide plan that is
Mm-hmm.
actually implemented
Yeah.
and backed by investment.
Right.
Because we have so many social entrepreneurs and MSMEs and NGOs in the Philippines. The heart is here,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not backed by institutional investment.
Right.
Um, and by institutional, I mean from the government, but also from the multiple sectors. It's not systems wide change that we are seeing because we are lacking in collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
I think what NPAP, the National Plastic Action Partnership, is it's doing is really great because they're getting all these players together. Um, but somehow, I mean, their mandate, to be fair, is in planning, right? It's not an implementation. and
Right.
so
Right.
and so there you see the gap. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
when we implement, and when we evaluate, data gathering is another important issue. That's not our strength. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So many things to consider, to be strong at, like actually you have to be strong at everything to orchestrate it. So in your part, the Kaya ROI, is this like what you are focusing on, like partnering and networking so that a project becomes holistic and impactful?
Yes, that's this is what we call the public affairs mindset, which is really
Mm-hmm.
stakeholder engagement and getting different stakeholders together, aligning, uh, finding aligned values and
Mm-hmm.
approaches. Also very
Mm-hmm.
important aside from the priorities, aligned approaches so that we could meet common goals. So
Right.
yes, that has been our approach.
Yeah, but let me share something with you. An experience in Cebu. Many years ago, Cebu had a very strong advocacy for environment. And then, we were taught, I learned, in fact, from nonprofit organizations to segregate, because this was the campaign in 1990s. It was so strong that you have to segregate and put the residual waste from kitchen for composting. But the sad thing in the experience was, like, when they collect, they put everything on into the truck. And so
Yeah.
we consumers have learned, but government has failed on that part, on actually down to the sanitation landfill. Only the industrial waste, in fact, should be remanufactured into something else, and then the compost to the agriculture and all that. But no, it fails when the
Hmm.
collection comes. I hope that doesn't happen with the
It's still
Mayor
happening.
Vico.
That is still the case, and it's not just in Pasig, it's happening everywhere. And
Hmm.
this is why I'm
That's why
saying
it's sad.
we really need a systems perspective, right? Because the behavior change cannot be focused on consumer alone. If you look at the
Okay.
entire systems map of
Hmm.
circular economy, there's the producers, there's the manufacturers. So
Hmm.
at that point, there's already some changes that need to be done, which is in innovative packaging, for example, and
Mhm.
then bring it down to consumers. So at the consumer point, it's the waste segregation, it's the reduce, reuse, recycle. So
Yes.
and then yes, it's in the collection. So we here, we've done our stakeholder consultations here, again, not only in Pasig but outside of Pasig, and I've done work in circular economy in multiple LGUs across the Philippines,
Mhm.
and we're saying the same tune, which is that
So if that is a
sure,
common problem, what
it's a
is the
policy
national,
issue.
yeah, the national legislation? Is there a senator or a congressman, woman engaged in doing something like with national impact? Because
Not
that's
to be political, but
mhm,
they're pretty busy right now with
with something
uh
else, right? And meantime,
with a lot of other things. So yes,
it's not their
so
priority. So
yes,
there's, oh my God, the problem is from top to bottom or bottom to top.
but this is why we're working at the local government level.
Mm-hmm.
The national government, all due respect to the officials at the DNR, because there are good, committed officials, I would say, in the national agencies, especially the career officials.
Yeah, I would
I
believe
mean, they
that.
yes, I think that's a known fact, right? The
Mm-hmm.
career officials, they have committed their lives to this cause, and but the thing is, there's a lot of things going on at the national agency, at the national level,
Mm-hmm.
and this is why we've decided, let's help the communities. Let's go and support the barangays,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why we've decided to really focus on, because there you can really, one, test, ideate,
Mm-hmm. You
iterate,
see it
and
immediately,
and
right?
see the impact immediately. You build a case study that can be replicated and scaled.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're really trying to do right now. We've just finished the stakeholder consultations in Pasig. We're presenting the campaign to the stakeholders. So we're right in the middle of it, right? And then we're trying to get partnerships, to to get partners on board so that we can implement the recommendations that we have.
Amazing you. I can imagine how overwhelmed you are. Is it overwhelming? And
We
it
take it
is.
one day at a time.
Okay. But
There's no,
um
no other
I
choice.
am I am so intrigued. Like you also work with Singapore and all the other countries in the region. So
Mm.
is it easier to work there than with the Philippines? Are they are, is it not so bad there in terms of putting things across together, legislation, budgets, programs, serious implementation? How is it?
I mean,
Let's compare.
Singapore.
We have to compare. I mean,
Mhm.
if only to be better, let's try to see where we can improve on. That's just my context.
Yeah. Yes, of course. And we do this all, and this is an exercise that we do as
Mm,
part of planning, in analysis.
right.
So uh, I would say geographical design has a lot to do with governance.
Mm-hmm.
So archipelagic nations and maritime nations in the region have a lot of common in terms of um, challenges as well, because we're archipelagic. So we look at in Indonesia, for example,
Mm-mm.
um, and and learn how they're doing. They have a more mature recycling industry. There's a lot of investment
Oh.
in Indonesia. But even in Indonesia, for example, when we're looking at on the from the policy lens, we're
Mm.
more advanced when it comes to extended producers responsibility, EPR.
Oh, okay.
But there, when you're looking at investment, they are more advanced when it comes to recycling. So there is no it's not that one nation is better than the other. You really,
Mm-hmm.
it's nuanced within, because we talk about circular economy. It there's so many pillars and
Mm-hmm.
elements under it. So I wouldn't really say this state is better than the other state. I would say though, Singapore, I mean, this is widely known that their their strength is really in translating policy into implementation.
Mhm.
Um, and
So is that a
you know,
factor, a leadership factor?
definitely a leadership factor. It has its implications, right? So,
Mhm.
um, for example, in the Philippines, there's a lot of players and there's a lot of voices that are heard.
Mhm.
I'm not sure we see that in Singapore, but if we
Oh,
focus on circular economy, it's really policy to implementation.
yeah, but their politics is not the decision maker for policy. I mean, it's always there. It's like a universal system that's there, regardless of what political party you may come from. Right? Am I correct?
And I would say this is because they're very data driven. They're trained to
I
be this
see.
way. So
Perfect.
the data collect they take data collection and analysis and use that for planning very, very
Yes.
seriously.
Yes. That's the
So
key.
and that's what we are lacking in.
Yeah.
So yes, and
Okay.
that's why they're able to build systems and implement it
Their
because it's
database.
built on data.
I can imagine Taiwan is like that too. Like even the movement for women's rights in Taiwan, it's data based. It's the university is doing the research on it, and therefore they will legislate based on the economic situation of women and the programs that's needed for them to improve on their skills, their knowledge, their capacities. Wonderful. I love that. We are
Yeah,
lacking
just
in
and
data.
just to give it, so we're talking about plastic credits right now, but
Mm-mm.
there is no regulation because so plastic credits is similar to our carbon credit, right? Where an organization, instead of physically collecting the plastic that it produced or that it put out in the market, would instead buy plastic credits from an
Mm.
organization that's supposed to have collected it. But there is no transparency and traceability in that entire process.
Oh.
So there's higher chance that there's that there's duplication in accounting
Mm-hmm.
of plastic credits. So so yes, there while we're investing in we've recently joined Pax Silica, which is another controversial issue, but
Yeah.
because of environmental concerns. But I'm hoping that we take technology and innovation and really use that for data. And this
Mm-hmm.
is not limited to circular economy. I'm also exposed in the healthcare sector.
Mm-hmm.
I was head of corporate affairs for a pharmaceutical during the pandemic, and this
Uh-huh.
was the main concern that we raised, was which was there is lack of traceability, or at least from our end, there's no visibility, lack of visibility in um, in medicines and vaccines that need to be acquired, and medicines and vaccines that actually were used, by the patients or by the end consumers. And so then it's very difficult for the national government to understand how much medicines and vaccines would need to be purchased. And in the
Mm.
end, a lot
That's
of
why
these
we don't know
things,
what we are supposed to do because we have no information.
yes. So yeah, I think
Wow.
that's one big gap that we really need to address immediately if we were to take systems change seriously.
Oh, I am sad because that's a basic ingredient for development, right? No, but let me shift again. Go back to leadership. I understand that HERRD is a platform for women leaders. In fact, you launched it here in New York. How is it? And has it been very contributory to your current work right now?
I'd say we launched it. Thank you
We
for
launched it. Oh, yes, we
for
did.
yeah.
I remember. I forgot. I was there.
Yes, I'm really so lucky and to have you and Merly and Isa, the Women of the World team and the
Mm,
Women's Federation for World Peace team to have been so supportive. Herd is again several years in the making. When when I moved back from Singapore to the Philippines, I
mhm,
set up this platform called womeninpolicy.org.
mhm,
And the idea is just to elevate more women's voices in policy decision making, in public policy dialogues, because at that time I would sit in boardrooms and I wasn't a decision maker. I was staff. I was junior, maybe junior staff even.
mhm,
Is underrepresentation
mhm,
in female voices. And so what I wanted to do was to just, write about what these women leaders are doing and all of that. But I was doing that while I was in corporate, or while I was working full time in organizations that were very demanding. So I
mhm,
would just write from time to time on an ad hoc basis. I wasn't able to really commit myself to it. And so when I took on a corporate pause last year, I decided to fully launch her the same vision but in a different format. So from
mhm,
women in policy to herd,
mhm,
and herd has evolved into an insights and female leadership accelerator in the region, and we provide intelligence briefings and reports, and we build a
mhm,
community of leaders. And our idea for community is really more proximity to power. We want high potential and high performing middle managers to be exposed and to be
mhm,
connected with successful leaders, because in principle, if you want to rise up the ranks within an organization,
mhm,
somebody does need to champion you. You cannot do it by yourself, no matter how good you are, right?
mhm,
You need leaders from above. I mean, who are already high up in their ranks to pull you up with them. So,
mhm.
and that's the whole idea of community championships. Mm.
I see.
And then visibility, because and this is a term that I learned from Tessa Arcelia, who is a global journalist. She was based in Europe, I think, for most of her career, and she was able to have one-on-one interviews with the likes of Tony Blair in
Mhm,
her own political talk show. And she would say the work doesn't speak for you, and so you need to speak about your work. And that is our
yeah.
way of elevating ourselves. It's not self-promotional, because that was initially my struggle with it, that
Mhm,
I come from a generation that likes taking a back seat, because that's our comfort level. We just want to do the work. We don't need to talk about ourselves. But I
mhm,
had to get over that, because
mhm,
the world is different right now. So and so the mindset shift that I had to go through was that, okay, when I talk about the work, I'm not promoting myself, I am sharing my learning. So this was a discussion that I had with Tessa. The herd huddle that we did in New York
yeah.
is a form of that. We talked about cross sectoral dialogues, and
Mhm,
that's why we had business leaders and development leaders and government leaders all in one room, because these dialogues amongst are usually done in silos. We don't really get a chance to, one, speak at a global stage, and also do cross sectoral dialogues. And just to share an experience, um it was 3 years ago when I first joined CSW.
mhm,
I was there to represent private sector,
mhm,
and so I introduced myself to, I believe she was the minister of foreign affairs of a of a certain state. And then I said, I'm from this company. And then she's like, oh, I didn't know
Mm.
private sectors invited to these things.
Oh,
And that shows you that, we really live in a very siloed world.
right.
Why aren't private sector leaders, if not welcome, invited to these gatherings? We know that, the United States is it's a very capitalist society. So
Mhm.
we need to, leverage our own strengths, and this is why there's a lot of gaps in policy and in implementation, because a lot of times we don't talk, and therefore we don't understand each other.
There's no
um
network. There's no partnership,
yes,
actually.
there's no partnership. Yeah,
Business sector should have an active voice in the UN universe, I suppose.
I believe so.
Mhm.
A lot. I've i've spoken to um chairman and executive directors here, um different industries, and the relevance and the credibility of the UN is really being questioned. And this is already coming
Yeah,
from here, right?
its
So
effectivity, in fact, is like questioned.
yes, and 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 at the same time, there is Davos,
Mm.
where all these business leaders would go to.
Right.
Um, so, and it's that one also is very tilted towards private sector. So
Mhm.
I think really we need a space where, and this is what we're trying to advocate for, is that we need a space where, egos aside, guys, egos aside.
Perhaps
Okay.
your your assignment or your new an innovation is to like really create a roadmap on how the business sector, government, and the nonprofit organizations can really collaborate, because there's always this constant problem of sustainable funding, financing. So perhaps, well, government has taxes as the source of money for them to continue, but and also there's revenue coming from big businesses, but nonprofits who have this vision don't have the funds, just like most of the nonprofits that I know. So we that's a big assignment perhaps for you
For
to
us,
create for
yes.
us to create a roadmap where the system again on how to integrate all this, right? So we have been we
Yes.
can we can go on and on, Ivana, because your line of work is very comprehensive. But to wrap up, what is your message to young leaders, young people like you who are in the thick of things and trying to go back to the word make things better, make the world better? So any message to the young ones?
Well, it's as simple as, let's partner up. Look for partners whose values are aligned with you, whose priorities are aligned with yours
Mhm.
at this time. And let's put our egos aside, and focus on solutions, because there's a lot of challenges that we can tackle together. And
Mhm.
I think it's about time that we dialogue together and we solve things together. And so let's partner up.
Amazing. I'm sure I super agree with you. Thank you so much, Ivana, for your time, for the overtime. And this is not going to be the last. And I hope to invite you and see you here in New York. I'll see you in the Philippines. Thanks,
Yes.
Ivana.
Thanks a lot,
Ladies and gentlemen,
Mayor.
thank you. I hope you enjoyed our conversation tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Bye for now.
Her feminist perspective, I
Yeah.
think that's really where I get it.
You got it from her.
Social justice was so important to her and has become important to me.
We became very mindful of our environment and our planet.
Oh, nice.
And we took baby steps. Of course, everything is about baby steps.
Yeah.
We just had to make our programs bigger and it could reach more people.
Toronto is so culturally diverse because there's so many Filipinos in Toronto. But
Yeah.
what I don't like is higher education. There's not a lot of Filipinos. Even higher management, there's not a lot of